here today. Thank you for coming. First of all, I really hope you're all doing well in these strange times. And thank you for joining the webinar, Better Marketing with Artificial Intelligence and Savvy Data with NGI Community Ambassador Ester Liquori. I'm sorry, Esther, if I don't pronounce your name, your surname in Italian way, but I will work.
Don't worry.
So in the first part of today's webinar, Esther will introduce us a little bit with the Savvy Data and Artificial Intelligence in the marketing industry. Then we can have a discussion along the way, and at the end, whenever you guys feel like doing it, feel free to raise your questions in the chat or raise your voice, of course, whenever time permits. So a little bit about Esther. She has a strong background in marketing and communication with almost 20 years of business experience. She started her career in the marketing and sales for B2B, helping to create and maintain relationship with other companies focused on the artificial intelligence solutions for marketing activities. She was also chosen in the top 15 digital Italian women in 2018, according to Digitalic magazine. Esther, congratulations once again, even though it was 2000. She's also an ambassador of the Next Generation Internet community that this event is actually powered by. And you can all join the community. Here, I will post it right away.
The link in the chat.
Yes. Should be there. Okay.
Yeah.
And there you can follow up on today's and all the previous and following discussions and for those that are not really familiar with the Next Generation Internet Initiative, was launched by the European Commission in 2016, and it aims to shape the future internet as a platform ecosystem that embodies the values of inclusivity, transparency, privacy, cooperation, and of course protection of our data. And anything, just drop the line in the chat during this session. And this is all from my side. Esther, the floor is yours. And thank you very much for joining us today one more time.
Thank you for the introduction, Nina. No problem at all with the Italian pronunciation. As I said just a few minutes ago, even my English is not a good pronunciation, so everybody needs to forgive somebody else. So don't worry at all. And thank you for the introduction once again. I'm really proud to be here today. I think that NGI community is a really lively community, and is even an important topic, because data is nowadays really the new kind of gold, and people have the gold and they don't know they have that. And even the companies, they can feel there is something that can use, but are not comfortable at the moment how to use that, how to be compliant with GDPR and privacy, and how to be compliant with connecting in a savvy way with people. And when I say savvy, I mean in a meaningful way, when you are going to use that kind of data that you actually can use for law, but also because really you are bringing value to your customers. So bringing value to the people that you want to get in contact with. And this is the best way to use data, because you are going to be creating value, new value for everybody, without annoying, upsetting, or breaking the rights of the people. Okay, let's go ahead about that. This is a really quick introduction, but Nina also already did this very well. So you already know that I'm a proud ambassador for NGI. I'm a founder of a company that is called Ghostwriter AI. Ghostwriter AI is a platform that helps marketers in identifying target audience and trends, and creating new content for the clients that they want to reach. Obviously, we use data, and obviously in a good way, totally anonymous, and also consider that the kind of data that are tracked as are completely segmented and statistically analyzed, so totally anonymous as well. I'm also mentoring tech stars, so I'm trying to help other companies, other startups to understanding to how to enter on the business. Dex speaker and Digitalic as mentioned. This is just a quick overview of what we do with AI and with data. We use AI to profile and segment and suggest content creation so that companies can get lower effort and attract more audience in a good way, saving their time, saving their budget, and understanding how to use artificial intelligence to help in creating best content. Okay, tag me anyway, anytime. You can find me on LinkedIn as Ester Liquori as well, Twitter, Ester Liquori as well, and Instagram with a more personal profile, Ester Powerful Things. Well, let's a quick introduction on artificial intelligence, because even if we are in a very technical field with NGI community, it's also a community very large that includes many kind of technologies and people that are users and that are producers. So not everybody knows what we think and what we actually is artificial intelligence. Everybody thinks about these movies when thinks about artificial intelligence, so Terminator, so machines and robots that take the power and overwhelm human things, human people, human beings. And so iRobot, for example, so very fantastic view of what really is artificial intelligence. As a matter of fact, robotics, that is one of the topics that we can see mainly in these movies, is just one of portion of artificial intelligence. Luckily, as I mentioned in this slide, this scenario is not in this way. The scenario is not so dreadful, and is, as a matter of fact, more near to us. Everybody knows that nowadays a lot of devices, from our mobile phones to the small Alexa, Google Home, other devices are smart. So smart means also that they are able to elaborate data for us. And how they do that? Using artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? Is just a different technology. It's a technology that uses numbers, that uses statistics, but also other many different aspects about that. And what is important, where artificial intelligence starts in operating, is when it gets data. It's really important to understand that artificial intelligence is not the devil, is not the way in which companies or governments are going to control us, not only, or not just with one kind of AI. AI is, as said, made of algorithms, and these algorithms are really focused on just one task per time. You can't ask to a technology based on AI able to recognize images, to analyze in text, are completely different, or those that are able to identify cells for health, for other usage, are not able to use the same data or different data for marketing, for example, because they've been created and trained on data for just one aim, just one target usage, and nothing else. Everything okay at the moment? You, Katerina, can see the presentation?
Yes, I think she joined right now again, okay. So I think it should be fine. Don't worry.
Okay, that's perfect. So what we have to be aware of, that when we go around on the net, we leave behind us a kind of digital footprint. So there are a lot of information that are tracked while we are navigating website, while we both online, even more in these days where transaction online with the lockdown has been really had a boost because a lot of people doesn't have anything to do. So going to all around on social networks to go and take quizzes to have a little bit of fun, or also buying new products on online marketplace, and every kind of these actions actually leaves behind us what we like, what we are, as a matter of fact. Okay. This is a clear overview that you can find, obviously, in the slides. You can also see the source about that. When we are navigating, we are giving away tracks about what the people that we admire, the websites that we have visited, the kind of content that we have downloaded, the searches, the products. Everything is tracked nowadays, and many different companies track this content. So it is not such as this big power is concentrated in just a few people. It is scattered all around for the companies that are tracking different aspects, different footprint. But if we think about that, there are many things that we can do. Is not bad, once again, because, and we will see that during our webinar today, is also good for us as users, but also is good for us if we are as companies, because we can match together the two different point of view, the two different words to go ahead in a good way. Okay. Behavior profile. So what we are what we do online, what we both give away a profile about us. I mentioned it before that there are some algorithms that are able to understand what we are doing. As a matter of fact, it's not really about, for example, saying or giving away some aspects that are really personal. Is not about personal data. It's about how we behavior online, and this rebuild a kind of a profile that can be anonymous. So it's not said that if I go online and I bought products for my son, or products for going in the summer on the sea, on the beach, the companies can recognize me as Ester Liquori that loves the sea, that has a son, and other things. No, they put me inside with my behavior. They put me inside some segments that are not recognizable from human people, because can aggregate thousands, millions of data that the algorithms are able to recognize as a pattern. So extracting this kind of data, completely anonymized, are able to spot that there are some segments of women in some ages living in some region that bought some kinds of products that could be really similar to another one in another place with different languages and different place, different ages maybe, but that have in common some behaviors. This is really important for companies because it allows the companies to two things mainly. Provide the right kind of offers, obviously, but also avoid, and this is also the point of view of the customers, avoid the spam. Because if I recognize a behavior, I can recognize that there are some needs behind an intent. Google with the new engine is able to recognize the intent behind a search, okay? But it's not possible to recognize me directly as a human being that live in Italy and is called Ester Liquori. Okay, obviously not if I'm going to log in some other devices that are interconnected. Okay, so we interact with AI, with artificial intelligence, in many ways, in many different ways during our day. Once again, nowadays, all the kind of content that I've shown you with the other infographics are really often also algorithms behind. Okay. They are designed to understand the consumer needs and preference to deliver customized experience. What does it mean that? Everybody knows, as said once again, mainly in these days, we have had the experience of buying things online, okay? So the AI is able to transform the way in which we engage the audience, because companies that understand what kind of needs we have from our searches are also able to provide us best content for us. This is the way in which many websites and many services where we today are really keen. Let's think about Netflix, Spotify, Amazon, and these kind of things really works nowadays, because they're able to transform the data, transform the kind of data that they catch, but once again, in a mainly kind of view, in a kind of a big overview conducted from the algorithms, identify different segments to serve with specific kind of content. This helps marketers and brands, obviously, to have new inputs about the kind of marketing strategies that they have to run. Okay. What they really do at this point, they are analyzing data because they need to understand which segments is more close to a product, or which other segments are more close to be helped, for example, from the customer care. So if they can recognize, for example, upsets or bad comments and bad sentiment in conversation along the web, they are able to get inside and provide with a meaningful content, provide meaningful support also to the customer experience. So they are going to improve the general customer experience, leveraging, using the analytics data that they catch from the behaviors and the artificial intelligence analysis. They are able to personalize. One really nice expression that I think is the CTO from Netflix has done a couple of years ago. He said that Netflix is not just Netflix. It's not just one version of Netflix. There are 1,000 different versions of Netflix. Why he said that? Because as a matter of fact, when the algorithms provides data that suggests new content, that suggests different views to the people. If I enter with my account with my Netflix account, and any of you is going to enter in Netflix with their own account, we are going to live different experience, because the experience is built along to our behavior inside the website, and suggested also together with the kind of experience that our friends is having inside the Netflix box, if we can say. So you will see other of your friends, other in your networks has loved this movie, this content, and maybe we also are going to see different poster, different visual image of the movie. and different caption, different summarized content for the movie that we want that we are looking for. Why that? Because analyzing our choices along the time and analyzing that together with those of people similar to us, with similar selections and similar movies, length of movies seen, and so on, the system are able to suggest us what kind of movie is best for us, but also how to attract us with the right kind of image, text, and maybe length of the movies, languages of the movies. There are so many parameters, of course, but manually is obviously impossible. Analyzing, but also providing the content, providing the values, with algorithms everything is more easier to run. And adjust also, as mentioned, when you are able to catch the kind of data, and the data helps the algorithms to grow, because as a matter of fact, is the usage itself of the algorithms that improves the output. So whenever we use Netflix, whenever we use Amazon, whenever we use Google search, we are training the algorithms along to our behavior, along to our preferred contents, and so on. And as we do that, and other millions of people doing the same, the algorithms adjust themselves in that. It must be aware that this could be wrong in some way, because it needs that people, the human beings, still control the machine. It could sound a little bit odd saying that, but as a matter of fact, if the artificial intelligence works all alone, the data itself that catch can be full of human bias. So the work in this case, the job of the data science is analyzing the data provided and analyzed by the machines, and understanding if there are some bias inside, so that it can recognize and improve the algorithms to avoid bias coming out with more force than the good kind of data. This is an example. This is a virtuous circle of AI. Is Andrew NG, one of the father of artificial intelligence as well, is still on work. It works for Coursera and has been in the Google team as well, that talks about this kind of circle, the virtuous circle of AI, because you get better product when there are more users that provides new data and that improve the machines, so that as a matter of fact, better, more users, more data. Think about Google Translator service. Okay, few years ago, I don't know about your language, but as regards Italian language, the experience was really bad, because anytime you try to translate from English to Italian, or from Italian to English as well, the translation was terrible, really bad, as said. But nowadays, after a couple of years, a little bit more maybe, the improvement is amazing, because there are so thousands and millions, obviously, of search and people that using the system, that they trust the product, so they think it is a good product, that trains with the usage the system, and the system gathering more data is able to improve itself, so has become more useful for the people. So it's a kind of prophecy that go on in a good way. Okay. And is able to provide, for example, unique content. So once you are able to catch the kind of data that are useful for our kind of customers, we're also able to provide unique content, as I mentioned with the Netflix example. Is the such things that are already doing providers also for news, as a matter of fact. For example, BBC, CBS, New York Times, Reuters are creating new content from data. They are using the data to create and craft a piece of content that are unique, that could be also generated by in parts from the artificial intelligence, but are also focused on the kind of needs that people has when reading this kind of newspaper, for example. And okay, this is exactly what I said before about Netflix. Works exactly in the same way also for Amazon and, for example, for Spotify. But also think about your Alexa or your Google Siri devices. They improve themselves in the searches by the people that are using the same kind of searches. So training about what you are asking to the system is the same way in which has improved the old text type of searches on search engine. So whenever you write a sentence, search for a sentence inside the field of a search engine, you are training the system of the search engine to find the kind of people. And in this way, you are going to improve the system, and as is the same things that is happening nowadays with voice search. Voice search has started really bad, also because of algorithms able to recognize the speech has not been so good in the past next few years. Now is the system are really improved themselves, so the recognizable of the speech is increased, and the system are able, and our artificial intelligence algorithms that are able is NLP, and natural language processing tools, but also natural language understanding technique that are able to understand what kind of searches we want and provide the right kind of suggesting the right kind of content that we can may love. I see that there is a question from Simone. If the data in saves used and analyzed anonymously, how can you generate personal views? Sure. Personal views, once again, Amazon, Spotify, Netflix are able to personalize a kind of content based on the aggregation of the data, because once you have so many different millions kind of data aggregated and anonymized, so I don't know the name of the people, I mean, I as Amazon or as Spotify, Netflix, as numbers, okay? You are not Simone in this case, you are number 1 million and half, okay? And your profile, your behavior of vision or a movie or listening to a music is similar to the number 256 and similar to that one of 974 and so on and so far in the millions of people. And the algorithms are able to catch up the common link among the behaviors. So is able to provide you an experience that matches more what you may like. It's not 100% correct. As a matter of fact, it can be, has not to be 100% correct. Because the total correctness in artificial intelligence is wrong itself. It means that going a step behind, there are some bias that are acting and saying that 100% you will behave yourself in exactly that way. Is wrong. As a matter of fact, an artificial intelligence 100% right is a wrong artificial intelligence. It needs to give space to new experimentation, to give space to new A/B tests. so that predictively the artificial intelligence try to understand what could be good for you and provide you different choices that it think in a different percentage that will matches your needs, that will matches your preferences. And there, with these different options, you will pick one, and another one will pick one the same, or it will pick one different. This will create new patterns and new layers inside the algorithms that are able in this way to try a different way, to predict a different way for you or for any other in the same metrics. Okay. I hope I replied to you, Simone. Thank you for the question. It's been really important. Thank you. It's been really important to clarify. So thank you so about that. As I really anticipated with the answer, you go to personalize, you go to predict the behaviors, but the prediction is a prediction, is not 100%. It can be 100%. Where is up? Where we can see our behavior line? I think not, but I know, I really don't know, because obviously once again, as I said, when you scatter around your behaviors, the behavior is collected with different level of attribution and policies as well. Let's think about even in a similar field such as the social networks. Okay, where I'm comfortable because our system analyzes social networks to provide the data and to provide a suggestion to our customers. In any different social net, each different social network has different policies, and you have to provide, you have to follow the rules, you have to follow these policies, and you get the kind of data that you can, and that are following the authorization given by the privacy policy agreed to the people, from the people and the social network as well. Okay, so as I really anticipated just a few minutes before we started, in these days in Italy, there is a huge fear conversation around a mobile application that has been released by the government to track the COVID spread. Okay, so basically the application is not tracking your behavior in some way. It's tracking, but it's tracking your movement, because ANALYSE, I'm not an expert on that field, but basically it's going to analyze if you get in contact with in the recent days from people that has been recognized affected by coronavirus in the recent moment. So there is a lot of people on social networks that are yelling and are upset and bad semantic emotions about comments because they say their privacy is violated. They don't want to download this kind of application that is not obliged, and nobody is obliged to get it. However, they don't want, and they never will give their data to that. On the other side, there are the same people that sometimes just put their data, give their data away to fulfill a quiz or a joke or a contest online. They just fulfill, oh, great, I'm in the past, if I'm born in 2,000 years ago, I will be the queen of something else. Okay, or my face is similar to that one of the Pablo Picasso paint. Okay, providing your pictures, providing your preferences, replying to this kind of quizzes online. As a matter of fact, you are giving away your profiles, your behaviors, and for what? Just to be contacted for or analyzed, but without really nothing in change for you. So is tricky, this kind of balancing the data and the usage of data, and what people really understand when they are doing some actions online, and that they are providing data in a way that can be also spam, provide the content that they really don't need. Okay, let's go ahead. So how can AI can make content efficient, content marketing efficient for everyone? Okay, there are some data. Forgive the words about that. 79% of customers are willing to share data in exchange for contextualized engagement, and 88% will do so for personalized offers. So people agree to give their data. They want to give the data if they can catch the value behind. They think they are obliged, or that they are the data are taken off from them if they don't feel the value in exchange that they are given away. Okay. And as a matter of fact, and as always in this same content from Salesforce, they also say that people are going to change a company if they don't feel themselves special. So people like to be special. People want to receive personalized offers, personalized views, personalized content. And on the other side, to get that, they need to give away some kind of data, and some kind of data that is not necessarily means that could be data that affect their privacy. Okay. Also because it's boring. Okay, it's boring having always the same kind of content. I think everybody has tried the experience of going in some magazine, some shopping center that are always the same. There is never an offer, never nothing that can match our interests, or nothing that, for example, in my case with a son of 6-year-old, that can take them in some activities. If they're able to read the data, people can get some advantages from that, and obviously also companies can advantages from that. There is another searches that I will show you some in some way here, that marketers report personalization or AI across the customer journey. So a huge value is for brand building, lead generation, and customer acquisition. You see customer retention. So this kind of data personalization really affect these aspects in a company life, in a brand life, in marketing activities, and is also where using personalization can get improvement. The best is on brand building, because people are more keen to follow a company that is able to understand the needs. Okay, there is another question. People agree to digital marketing for consumers good, but what about political ad targeting? Nice question. You're completely right. Very often, unfortunately, there are some usage of the data that can be used for political forces. It's also true that is you have to think about that the data reflects the people. Okay, so it's true that could be some contents could be pushed out to attract and engage that kind of people, but it is also true that the people should have the consciousness to understand that what they are saying or their behavior is providing the data that creates the content for them. In your opinion, why doesn't the industry wants to share with the user some small percentage of benefits they build on the user's data? Sorry, Katerina, I have not understand your question at the moment. Maybe you can catch the microphone and explain better your question.
I thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah,
I
please.
was always in the last years wondering, I mean, we know that it's not just for my personal experience that they use my data later. They built a business model on selling and sharing this data with another brands and companies. It's advertising model. But neither of these company it's offering to the users to share some benefits. I mean, nobody. I mean, they say you need to give the data for free because we are giving you a better experience. And I don't understand why it should be for free. You know, I mean, they're making a lot of money sharing 0.01% of these benefits with the users will solve many of the poverty problems that nowadays we have in the world. And this will be really easy to be solved. So what is your opinion on this topic, and do you believe that we are going in this direction for in the future, that in the end there will be no freemium model?
Thank you for question, Katerina. Now I understood much better. And as a matter of fact, is sharing data, selling data is obviously just my opinion. Okay, selling data is kind of maybe future, but not so future. As a matter of fact, companies are already using this kind of data to get improvement. Okay, so people get their advantages from that. They are already getting some advantages, because anytime you get a personalized discount coupon because of your a customer loyal customers of a brand, or because you have fulfilled the feedback questionnaires, or because, and in the questionnaires obviously you are going to share some data, and you are using the content that you want, you are taking advantages from that. It's not monetized. I mean, you're right, is the company that is monetizing in some way, because they can improve the sales activities, they can lower the churn, so lower the number of people that go away. But you also have to think that you have the power if you want to change the brand anytime. So the aim of the brand is building, and I hope this could be one of the best usage of the data in now or in the future, providing once again a value for both, because providing the right kind of content, the company avoid to send you products and offers or things that you don't want, that you don't use, that is a spam for you. I can talk about my personal experience as mom. When I subscribed a newsletter, something that everybody have done in his life in these days, when my son has born, I fulfilled the data, because I would like to receive personalized offers and coupon from the newsletter of a company that provides diapers, provides something for infants, so for babies. And they are not using well my data, as a matter of fact, because they're not trying to understand how evolve the profile, how to change, how I'm changing the different products, and the different, how is growing my needs of different searches. So they still stick to send me offers about diapers. But obviously, after the first 2 years, okay, of life of my son, the diapers are away, fortunately, I mean. And now he wants to go with the bike. Now he wants to go with play soccer and had other different kind of needs that the same shopping malls, shopping center can provide with different products, and they have virtually all the data to do that, because they can they know when my son is born, birthday, because I fulfilled in the form. They know how much time has been passed. That is now he is 6 years old, but they still send me the offer for diapers. Okay, this is spam, and is the way and the why we unsubscribe from content that we are not happy with receiving. And there's exactly way in which you are happy sometimes and you are going upset later, because you don't feel personalized, but in a very simple way, even without personalization, AI, and prediction. Just few lines that connect the dots are able to improve our customer experience. So how to go? We are going to close in a few moments, so I can have the time to reply to your other questions that you may have. Some quick suggestion: not collect as brand, obviously, not collect data that you don't need. Okay, this is very important. It's very important for GDPR, for law, for the people, but also for you, because you are going to fulfill your database of data that are not really useful for you. You say you can have the attitude of keeping data. Maybe in sometimes in the future I can use that. No, there are data that they become old. So the people changing constantly. You can't think that the people that have post something 6 months ago are the same, and the same attitude and needs that are buying something now because of event accident succeed. So for example, coronavirus as well has changed a lot of things, a lot of habits. So data are useful for the exact moment where you know what you have to do with the data. You have the kind of system that are able to manage that data, and that you are going to use the data in a short time, in a short span time. Otherwise, they're almost unuseful. They don't need to you. Okay. This is a picture of mine, and this is one of my coffee. I am coffee addicted. And this is just to show you an example of doing data, using data for improving an experience, a customer experience. For example, Starbucks has created a program, a loyalty program that contains the data of the place where I've been, so that I can feel at home in any kind of the world, and whenever I enter in a Starbucks coffee. They're able to understand what I like, selecting and seeing what kind of content, or even where I have been. So in this way, they are able to provide the right kind of content for me. Okay. Same for traveling experience, for example. But once again, as I said, no spam. So use the data in a good way to provide value for your customers, provide value for you, and avoid to spread all around spammy content. How much data should I have to create a normal AI model? What is the minimal count of data? Okay, it's not a question of, it's not a problem of amount of data, it's the problem of good data. Okay, this is very one of the first points that Andrew NG tried to teach, during the course about AI. I want to suggest you 2 courses about that are really for business people, so not technical. I'm not a technician about that. I'm not a data scientist. I'm a marketing aspect, a marketing expert. And anyway, I followed a couple of courses that is Elements of AI from University of Helsinki, that is completely free. And once again, completely free if you subscribe on Coursera, but as attendees, so no fees if you don't need the certification. The course of business AI for business, AI for everyone is the name of the course that NGI keep on Coursera. This is one of the very first points. You don't need to have a huge amount of data. You have to have the good data that serve the target, the aim that you want to reach. So think firstly about why you want, what you want to have, what you want to get, and what kind of data you can collect to provide the value, that bring the value, and that are able to fill in the blank for the idea that you have. After that, you can start creating the database of data so that you will avoid to collect too many data that you don't need, and to also collect data that are wrong for you. So you can lose a lot of time in data that are not useful for the scope, because you need to know, once again, what's your target, what you want to reach, what's your KPI, because different data are needs for different scope, and different algorithms are able to do different things. So focusing on what you need.
Just digression, we have 3 to 4 minutes, so yeah. I see that Giovanni asking, do you suggest some kind of tools of methods? Maybe we can do this in the follow-up of this webinar that is recorded and will be posted in the NGI community, and you can maybe give us a hint about the tools and methods that we can include in this video also. And that I don't know, maybe something to close it. And there was one question of the GDPR regulation influenced by the artificial intelligence activities. Maybe with that one we can close it.
GDPR and European community is really engaged to guarantee that could be applied AI for good use of AI for using data in a savvy way, as I said in the title. So in a good way that helps people, but also doesn't affect their privacy. As operators in the field, we are inside, for example, one of the SME instrument phase 1. We are studying some aspects about that, following the GDPR and following the guidelines of the European community about that. But as you said, I'm totally available to reply other conversation and go ahead with the conversation inside the NGI community. I would be really happy to share as I can with my experience.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, follow up from my part. That's it. Follow up will be in the NGI community. This will be posted shortly, most likely by tomorrow, and we can continue this interesting discussion over there. And Esther, thank you very much for this session. It was very interesting. It's endless topic. We can be here for a whole day, I believe, and talk about this. So yeah, thank you very much, and thank you all of you for joining us today, and hope to see you soon. Follow the NGI community. We have more interesting talks coming, and a lot of nice topics. So stay tuned and stay safe also.
Stay safe, stay tuned. Let's see you on the NGI community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.